It's great, of course. It's great to be here. It's great to have just talked at PAM, DATUM, and yeah, it's a great pleasure to be here outside, feeling the full force of nature and in the heat. And yeah, it's always great to be in a city, the full, vibrant city that it is. That's an interesting question. In a lot of ways, we developed that project with a lot of connection to the site, and I think that approach sort of generates an architecture which is perhaps unique but shouldn't be in a way, because it's really about bridging these two different sides of the project. The city, the need for there to be a lot of GFA on that site. You know, the brief itself is to make a master plan that actually is going to fund itself, is going to have all the different sort of metric-based briefs that we come to as architects, but also then developing this idea of an emotional brief with the team, with the collaboration, with the sort of processes we put in place. And I think that bit is perhaps the more unique part, the way that it connects very, very carefully to the site, the way that it tries to develop a sort of an archipelago type planning at its very peripheries, and in these sort of different approaches perhaps will be copied so that they don't become unique forever. But I think for that site and for that case, they are perhaps unique for now. But Rob in our office in Oslo has this saying, and he says, sometimes we can make the extraordinary ordinary, and we can make the ordinary extraordinary. And I think this kind of juxtaposition of those two things is perhaps what the project is doing quite well. I think it's a building that has obviously taken many years to design, to really get into, to actually understand, and the team that's done that has really done a great job at developing an architecture that I think really applies to many different scales. As I said in my talk today, you know, on a city scale, it will sort of act as an icon for the city, for the people, and actually become a place where many people will go, in the same way that Oslo Opera House is, a place where people can spend their weekends. They can use the rather large roof in many different ways. So in that way, I'm really looking forward to seeing that roof just being full with a lot of different people. But I think on a more micro scale, it's also the inner workings of the project, and seeing how the actual house, the opera house, people come and they use it to generate a sense of community, generate new works for the actual Performing Arts Centre. So inside, seeing how it actually acts as a catalyst for the arts and the actual creation of new art in Shanghai, I think that will be a fantastic moment. There's going to be a new operators that are going in, so actually seeing that place come to life from a public side, from a civic side, and also from a sort of more organisational side. It's these two sides of the project which I think we're most looking forward to. But obviously the people, you know, the project is there now and we can take people there and it looks amazing and it's very exciting to see the form, but no architecture is really architecture without the people. You know, as I said in my talk, we have this kind of saying of people, process, projects, actually. People first for a reason. Very much so, as an office, we work with people first, and it's all about collaborating many different ways. So the way that we collaborate, the way that we interact is that we come together every 2 years. We work, we walk, we talk, we walk up the mountain, and we decide what we're going to do for the next 2 years together, in a way. But the way that we work with Oslo is a similar way that we work with all of our different offices. We have a hub in Hong Kong that really is close to the action here in Asia, but we still like this idea of bridging this local idea or this global mindset. You know, when you haven't seen something for the first time, you have fresh eyes. So we like to twin this with the deep wisdom of being somewhere. So it's this kind of naivety with this idea of deep wisdom of a site comes together in Snøhetta in many different formats. And I think, you know, in that way we work with the different offices in that quite unique way, and because we all know each other so well from these every 2 year sort of pilgrimage to the mountain, we can call up different people and we can bring different people into different teams, and we try to do that as much as we can to create the designs that we have. But that then goes into also a way that we work, which is to actually put the emphasis of design on the team, to give you know, the different ages of the team, you know, the wiser people in the team, also with the new people, and trying to create this different unique dynamic that we have, not just on a global basis, but also within our teams here in Asia as well. So we collaborate in many different ways. Of course, we also have different disciplines. So in Asia we have interior, landscape and architecture, of course, whereas in Oslo we have some of our more So design-related skills. So we have product designers, we have graphics teams, we have interactive designers, wayfinding design, and furniture design. And we come together in many different ways on all of our different projects, and we'll pull different people in, depending on the scale, depending on the typology, depending on the need of the project. So we work in many different ways, I think, across. But the important thing is that we do work collaboratively together. I have already hiked Mount Kota Kinabalu. Yes, I hiked Mount Kinabalu before we designed the project. That was a really important thing that we did. I had to make that pilgrimage for myself. And yes, I actually proposed to my wife on Mount Kinabalu. So there you go. Yes, so I have a very personal approach to that project and that mountain. So so I have hiked the mountain. And we should go and do it with everyone. We should do it together. Yes, absolutely. Yeah. I think I'm looking nice. Thank you so much.